In my respectful submission, commodities trading risk management, which is shortly known as CTRM, is a product which covers the complete risk management cycle of commodities. We really need to understand that the world of commodities is very big, which includes soft commodities, hard commodities, precious, ferrous, metals, and whatnot. Now, there are organizations who are taking long term exposure in commodities, sometimes using over the counter derivatives, sometimes exchange traded derivatives, and sometimes hybrid. But there are players in the market, those who taking short term exposure, they don't want it to get involved for a longer commitment. That is their personal discretion. But when we take long term exposure, we are bound down to close our books on a monthly basis because generally the big organizations close their book on a monthly basis because they need to report whatever results so and so, which is operating profit, PAT, income, and other factors or other ratios to their investors. Now, when this happens, they need to do the accounting of that. Now, technically speaking, I'm not talking about the other part of accounting, I'm talking hedge accounting. Now, when you do hedge accounting of that, you need to consider one thing very clearly and appropriately, that there is some exposure of yours which you are hedging. So, example, you are a very big oil company and you have a 5-year contract with some company in Iran who would be providing you the oil. And you would be taking this oil in the crude form, then refining it, and whatever after refining, selling it to your customers. Now, since you are holding a 5-year contract with some Iranian company, it means you are exposed to long-term commitment for a minute. For a minute, I am assuming that there is no currency exposure, which is completely incorrect assumption, and also there is no IR exposure, which means that against so much of oil which you are importing, you have not raised any ECB or probably any kind of borrowings or funding and so on and so forth. So that for a minute I am excluding. Now that hedging which you are taking since you're holding a long-term commitment, now that hedging is subject to hedge accounting. It could be cash flow hedging, or it could be fair value hedging, or maybe both. Now that hedging, the figures needs to route